7070. You'll speak directly with me, Mark McVeary. The number again is
Mark
410-788-7070.
Blue Jays 3-2 on the road. Jeremiah Jackson hit a solo home run.
Wasn't
in
he
the
a
win, while
Clint Eastwood
Ryan
movie?
Mountcastle.
Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
About to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. It is T-minus 1 day till Friday. Hi. Welcome to it, kids. You know, I just heard a news story, and somebody was describing the SAVE Act, and they said this is common sense legislation that Americans want. And then I realized, oh my God, that's why the Democrats are opposed to it, because it's common sense, you see. You may recall back in 2024, I said that this election was about turning things back to common sense from nonsense. The Democrats spew nonsense. That's what they do. That's what they do. And yesterday, oddly enough, the Mark Moyne Mullen DHS nomination hearings became all about voter ID and keeping ICE agents away from polling places, because the Democrat Party is so freaked the hell out about us exposing and destroying their theft of elections by using illegals and loading them up with all sorts of freebos and whatnot. And they also see the Trump revolution continuing and growing by leaps and bounds. Did you see the poll yesterday? You know, Harry Hinton, the guy from CNN who sounds like an old-timey baseball announcer. He does. He sounds like an old-timey. It's like, oh, ladies and gentlemen, you won't believe it. My God, MAGA is really doing well, and he's rounding third base, and he's going home. He sounds just like an old-timey baseball announcer. But, you know, when it comes to MAGA followers and MAGA support, there has never been a political movement in American history that has garnered this kind of support. All right? Listen.
And this is one of those, because just take a look here. MAGA GOP view of Trump. Approve 100%. 100%. If you are a member of MAGA and the GOP, you approve of Donald John Trump.
Yeah, this is why Marjorie Taylor Greene and all these other, Tucker Carlson and that, they're gone, because they're trying to say, oh yeah, MAGA's really falling apart. MAGA's really. Are you high? The more you do that, the more we go, oh no, we are committed to this movement. Absolutely 100%.
0% say that they disapprove. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to know you can't go higher than 100%.
Yeah, because if it's a percentage, 100 is everything. 99 is one less than everything for you Democrats who are listening.
He is the 1972 Miami Dolphins. Now, there are some Republicans who disapprove of Donald John Trump, but
they don't mean D word for Richard.
They are not members of the Make America Great Again movement.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? So Marjorie Taylor Greene, not a member of the Make America Great Again coalition. She never was. You ever notice her eyes are real close together? That should give you an idea that maybe not the most, a lot of stuff going on upstairs.
The bottom line is this. If you are a member of MAGA, you approve of Donald Trump.
There you go. See, there's nothing you can do about it. You mean, you can try all you want. You can say that MAGA's falling apart. Last week they were saying, oh yeah, this war in Iran, this whatever the hell you want to call it, military action. It is causing the MAGA coalition to fall apart. Let me see. If you got 100% support, that means you're not exactly falling apart.
It's interesting, though, because there have been a couple prominent people who have sort of come out online, and they're very mad about this war with Iran because he promised no new wars. Is there any sign that people might be leaving MAGA relative to
Did you not just hear what he said?
2024.
Yeah, okay. So, I've said it before, and, the theme of this segment is Tucker Carlson be darned. And when we
be darned.
Look at the numbers, I mean, I've heard some people say, oh, you know what, when you look at those MAGA numbers, it doesn't account for those who might have left MAGA. But take a look here. Americans who identify as MAGA, in November of 2024, it was 28% of Americans. Now it's basically the same. If anything, it's slightly higher.
It went up. The number of MAGA Americans is now higher.
At 30%. The bottom line is this.
What do they call Biden's? What do they call Biden followers? Like, I don't even know, brain deads? I don't even know. Zombies.
MAGA base within the GOP is not
He didn't have 100% support.
It's the same size. If anything, it is slightly larger than it was back in 2024 when, of course, Donald Trump won a second term. So that 100% that Donald Trump has approval among MAGA GOP, that is not an artifact of MAGA shrinking. No. It's just an indication of how strong Donald Trump's grip is on that MAGA base.
100%, because, we've never seen anybody like this before. We've never seen somebody go to Washington, D.C. and do what we ask them to do. And we've never seen the deep state go after somebody like this, trying to put him in jail, impeaching him twice, raiding his home for the first time in history. Then, of course, trying to take him off the ballot. And then, these political trials where they try to take away his fortune and throw him in jail for 700 years. Then they tried to murder him a couple times. You see, we get it. We understand what's going on here. That's why we're going to support this man, and he's doing a great job, and the rest of you can KMA.
Supreme Court just ruled for me. Injunctions now a history. The market just hit an all-time high. Told NATO they must be fair. They've got to pay a bigger share. I caught CNN and another lie.
Do that every night.
I made a trade deal with China. Yes, it was quite a tremendous week.
Took out Maduro.
I have a question that I'd like to ask you. Your answer is something I see.
Close the border.
How do you like me now?
100%.
How do you like me now? Now that I'm on a roll, I'm sure that I'll be surging in each and every poll. Brokered a ceasefire. People ask me how. Look at what we've done. How do you like me now?
That is Jim Gossett, by the way, doing a brilliant job.
How do you like me now?
He's a pretty incredible guy, right? I used to write for Rush Limbaugh, talent on loan from God, and Jim Gossett is better than anybody I ever worked with, so he's fantastic. Here is Victor Davis Hansen. He's just a brilliant, brilliant guy talking about what we're experiencing right now. If you don't understand what's happening here, it is a counter-revolution against a massively corrupt, bloated bureaucracy that is committed more abuses and usurpations than the founders would have ever imagined.
We're watching the greatest counter-revolution in some 90 years. Mm-hmm. We have not seen any president try to radically change the political calculus and the nature of government since...
Well, Barack Obama did, but he tried to make it into a Maoist communist revolution. Didn't work.
FDR did it from the left during the New Deal of the mid-1930s. And what do I mean by that?
What's that?
Donald Trump closed the border.
Yeah.
He's basically declared war on DEI, and he's winning that argument.
Yeah.
Abroad, we see that Iran no longer poses a nuclear threat for the immediate future. The universities are rushing and competing with each other to cut a deal with Donald Trump. Trump is winning on all of these social and cultural issues. What he's trying to do is tell the American people that the left exercises power even when they do not control government.
Now, I want you to listen to this because, I've been talking to you about how the Democrat Party, the left, is doing a death spiral into hell, dying like movie vampires, lashing out, clawing, scratching, trying to drag you into hell with them. Listen to Victor Davis Hansen, echoing yours truly.
Any branch of government, and they exercise power even though on most of the issues, if not all of them, their constituency is only 40%. The majority of the American people oppose their agenda. We're going to see in the next year a frenzy, a frantic, almost out of mind reaction from the left because they know.
That's been going on for a while. ICE are Nazis. ICE is Gestapo. Donald Trump is a Nazi. Donald Trump is a fascist. Oh my God, MAGA fascist enemy is mockery. Oh my God.
That if this counter-revolution succeeds, it'll be very difficult for them to push down an unpopular agenda down the throat of the American people. Yeah. So brace yourself. We're looking at the resistance coming up to the counter-revolution, and it's going to be fierce and unhinged.
Well, it already is. It already is. And nobody said this was going to be easy. It hasn't been easy for 10 years, and nobody said it was going to be over when Donald Trump was elected. And it took a yeoman's effort, an incredible effort to get Donald Trump in office. It took an incredible effort to get past all of the lawsuits and the legal system and the FBI and the DHS and all of these agencies of government, the IRS, going after Donald Trump, leaking, confidential stuff about Donald Trump, his tax returns, surveilling members of Congress, surveilling MAGA Republicans. Unbelievable what this deep state did. It was essentially the November election was our Berlin Wall moment. And right now it's exposed what was behind that wall, and it's filthy, rotten, stinking, bloody, corrupt, more than we could have ever imagined. More than you could ever imagine. Now it all makes sense why. When Elon Musk created Doge and he stood on stage at CPAC last year with a chainsaw, and the left went nuts and started calling him a Nazi when he just wanted to cut government waste. He wanted to cut government waste, fraud, and abuse. And that's the problem, because our government is based on it. Our government is completely invested in it. Mostly Democrats, some Republicans, completely. This is their grift. They are the bourgeois. We are the proletariat. The bourgeois is not going to go quietly, but by God, they're going to go. All right, there you go. I got a whole bunch of stuff on the show today. We got guests. We got new comedy from Jim Gossett. We're going to be talking about the SAVE Act next. This is the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere. Not to scare you, but AI has completely changed the cybersecurity game. Scams are smarter, malware is faster, and phishing emails look shockingly real. But the good news, you don't need to be a tech expert to stay ahead of it. With WebRoot Total Protection, you are protected. Plus, if you're sick and tired of dealing with a slow computer, WebRoot is cloud-based anti-phishing and anti-malware engineered to stay out of your way. And because the intelligence lives in the cloud, WebRoot keeps your computer running light.
Deported. 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 Get them out. Ready? Are you ready? Get them out of here. Get them out of here. Get the hell out of here. Deported. 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 Get him out. Ready? Are you ready? Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get the hell out of here. The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
And this is one of those, because just take a look here. MAGA GOP view of Trump. Approve 100%. If you are a member of MAGA and the GOP, you approve of Donald John Trump. 0% say that they disapprove. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to know you can't go higher than 100%.
I know. And remember last week they were saying the MAGA coalition was crumbling. I love this. I just love it. This is why I say that this movement for making America great again and turning back the evil that had really taken over our government and the world to some degree is a godly movement. It's a godly movement. And, I'm not saying Donald Trump is a holy figure, but at the same time, certainly somebody who represents the people and wants to make the country great again. And hopefully the Democrat Party will eventually understand that they'd be better off coming up with real solutions rather than just hating on Donald Trump, because that's what's going to happen. They're going to have to do that, or they're going to be driven into the dustbin of history, as I like to say. This is Dan Bongino. Lately you hear the Democrats lashing out. They don't go, attack Donald Trump necessarily. They attack Stephen Miller. They attack Tulsi Gabbard. They attack these cabinet members and whatnot. And Dan Bongino says it's because they don't have any testicular fortitude.
Sean, this is cowardly by these people who you mentioned who are doing this, because what they do is they call out Donald Trump's entire cabinet and circle of friends and advisors, but they never call
like Pete Hegseth is a war criminal.
Call out Trump because they know they'll get crushed like a bug. They know it, and then the grift dries up. Then the money dries up. So what they do is, because they have no balls, say it again, no balls, grow a pair. They don't want to take him on directly because he will crush them. So they go about attacking everyone else. They do this all the time. And I call this the Donald Trump has no agency theory. Like Donald Trump doesn't have the ability to think for himself. You've known him longer than I have. I had the pleasure of working for him. Yeah. You don't know jack squat about this guy.
100%. And I got to tell you, there are days that I kind of wonder how he does this. I get very upset a lot of the times. I watched those hearings yesterday and watching these Democrats behave like complete morons. And you got the news media telling you the war is, the epic fury is a failure and all this. And it gets to be a little bit much. But oddly enough, that guy in the White House, have you ever seen him shaken? Have you ever seen him shaken? I mean, it is remarkable to me. I don't know. You got a guy who was shot, nearly murdered in a field in Pennsylvania, grazed by a bullet, and he stood up and raised his fist and said, "Fight, fight, fight." Tell me that there's not something going on there. There's something beyond us doing that, because most would go, yike, yike, yike. I'm not going to run anymore. I'm dropping out of the race. It is, honestly, it's more than I could have expected from him. And I think it also is a metaphorical for you and me, because of what we've been through, and many of us have lost family members and friends because of politics. They can't stand us. We've been ostracized in many ways, and look how we've come together. That's why, Kerry Hinton said that we're 100% in favor of Donald Trump, which means that we are 100% behind each other, right? We are. We're 100% behind each other. I can feel it. That's why I moved to Washington, D.C., because we fought battles after battles after battles together. And I came here because I wanted to experience this history and look at all the things that are happening that are just ethereal. 250th year of our birth, and Donald Trump is in office. You've got, all sorts of amazing things happening. The southern border's closed. We got U.S. men's and women's gold, and then the quadriplegic games, whatever the paraplegic games. I'm drawing a blank on the name of the games, but the men's hockey team there wins the gold, and there are just a lot of things that are happening that are crazy and serendipitous. You've got the Venezuela, the dictator Maduro is out of Venezuela. You got Cuba on the brink of falling and being free. You've got now Iran on the cusp of maybe turning back 47 years of absolute terror. You've got peace in the Middle East growing by leaps and bounds. You've got, is anybody talking about Hamas anymore? Is anybody talking about Hamas anymore? Guys, we're witnessing amazing things. And if that guy in the White House suffering all those slings and arrows is not freaking out and collapsing, you shouldn't either. That's why I say we got to overwhelm them with joy and patriotism. There you go. I'll handle the mockery, ridicule, and satire, and let Donald Trump handle the butt kicking. How's that sound? Here's Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War. What is it good for? Well, kicking Iran's butt. That's what it's good for. He's addressing the audience, looking past the media that has been lying about Operation Epic Fury.
I stand here today speaking to you, the American people, not through filters, not through reporters,
nope.
Not through cable news spin.
Nope.
A dishonest and anti-Trump press will stop at nothing. We know this at this point.
They're complaining because I guess the Trump administration is wanting $200 million to cover the cost of this and the mop up and all of that stuff. And they're screeching about it. It was trending on Twitter. We spent like $300 billion on Ukraine, and a good share of that money was spent on boats and mansions on the Riviera. We have no accounting for $300 billion, even though it was not our conflict.
To downplay progress, amplify every cost, and call into question every step. Sadly, TDS is in their DNA.
Oh, yeah, big time.
They want President Trump to fail.
Yes, they do.
But you, the American people, know better.
Yeah.
Yes, there are reporters in front of me, but they are not our audience today.
Yeah, I know.
It's you, the good, decent, patriotic American people.
Isn't that kind of weird? He's kind of like echoing what I just said in that little monologue I just did there, right? It's kind of crazy, right? We're in this together. It's okay. We're going to be okay. We are good and decent people. We're giving people. We love our country as founded. We recognize that it's the greatest country, the greatest engine of individual and economic freedom in the history of mankind. There's no doubt about that, by the way. There's no doubt about it. Like I told you this before, Paris and London existed for over 1,000 years. And when our country was founded, they were still using the streets as a latrine. Okay? Ben Franklin flies a kite, discovers electricity. The rest is history. Then we invented radio. Then we invented television. Then we invented the airplane. Then we invented, the rocket. And then we invented blue jays. Then we blew up the entire world with rock and roll. And then we had jazz. Well, before that, jazz, blues, bluegrass, country, hip hop, R&B. I can go on and on. The greatest engine of individual and economic history in the history of mankind. People come from all over the world. We are a melting pot. We've always been a melting pot. Our ancestors are from other countries who left those countries because they knew this was a land of opportunity. There you go. Man, I'm getting all sorts of patriotic here today. I think we needed it a little bit. Now, coming up, we got Michael Charbon from Canada. Canada is a bleep show supreme. We'll get into that with I'm in the next break. And then we're going to talk a little bit about this SAVE Act. And John Kennedy has a solution for it, by the way. He says we don't need 60 votes. All we need is 50 and the VP. And oddly enough, Nancy Pelosi said the same thing in 2024, literally serving it up on a platter. Okay, we can get this thing passed. I think it sounds good. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson for Shopify. You know, for years I have had a swag line of T-shirts with catchy phrases and whatnot, and it's just been lying there. Well, I've decided to go with Shopify and actually make money with my own business. Shopify gives you everything you need to sell online and in person. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made this leap, from household names to first-time business owners just getting started. Choose from hundreds of beautiful templates you can customize to match your brand instead of just having a lousy website that nobody notices like I have been doing for years. Set up fast with Shopify's built-in AI tools that write product descriptions and headlines, create email and social campaigns that reach customers wherever they scroll. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Newsmax. Go to shopify.com/Newsmax. Make building a successful business your 2026 New Year's resolution. Gold. Now
Under the sea, it isn't better down where it's wetter, take it from me. Our Navy has gone down to defeat, they've taken down most of our fleet, nowhere to hide, our ships reside under the sea. One by one our ships are sinking, U.S. forces have won the day. It's enough to make me start drinking as the torpedo heads my way. Our Navy faces complete destruction, soon we'll have no ships in the sea. Hormuz has become one big graveyard, drunken declare sweet victory. Began under the sea, under the sea. How we abhor the ocean floor, it's not for me. Iran has fought this war in vain. Here comes a U.S. Air Force plane. If you're on our ship, you'll take a trip under the sea.
Hey guys, it's Carson. I just got a ghost bed. Yeah, no, pay attention here, because I've been sleeping on a foam mattress since I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, which is like sleeping on the sponge in your sink. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks, not fluff. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I have been sleeping past 7 in the morning on my Ghost Bed. It's unbelievable. If you wake up stiff, you toss and turn, if you sleep hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. It's your mattress talking. Another great thing I love about Ghost Bed, you get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, you can send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is offering my audience their lowest prices of the season, plus an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. You are going to love your new Ghost Bed.
In WCBN in the morning and afternoon for traffic and weather.
Here we go.
Start your day with 680 AM.
1, 2, 3.
99.
a beauty way to go. Take off to the great white north.
That music, of course, signifies and introduces the great Michael Charbon, the host of the Charbon Report, live from Canada. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Rob. You've been just lighting up the radio. I just love listening to you, man. You've got the heartbeat of America going, and I'm not talking about your engine. I'm talking about your opinions. Great job, brother. Great job.
Well, that's all I need to hear, Michael. We'll talk to you next week. So just real quick here, Michael, I'm very concerned about your self-esteem as a Canadian. You got a lot of challenges up there, and you had the men's and women's American hockey teams beat the Canadians in the final in overtime. Both of them get gold medal. Then you had the Paralympics here, and the U.S. men's beat the Canadians. Is there a Pee Wee hockey international tournament coming up? Maybe you should be a little nervous about that one.
You know, Rob, I think we can accept defeat in a very nice way.
Yes,
the situation is we were two great teams, and when it goes to overtime, anything can happen, and the best team won. So, hey,
there you go.
I'm a little disappointed. I have to say, I'm a little disappointed the Canadians were not as excited to welcome everybody back with a silver medal because everybody thinks Canada only gets gold.
Yeah, I guess so.
Congratulations.
Yeah, do you ever hear? There's this guy I've been watching online. His name's Peter Saint-Onge, and a very interesting cat. I want you to hear what he has to say. I've just been kind of following him lately on the social. He does these wonderful commentaries. Here's his thoughts on Canada's economy.
Canada just lost 84,000 jobs in a single month. In U.S. terms, that is almost 800,000 jobs in a month. That goes on top of losing 25,000 jobs in the previous month, January, which is another 250,000 in U.S. terms. Of course, 96% were private sector jobs over the 2 months. Government workers are doing just fine. Meanwhile, a new study found over half of Canadians have to borrow money for groceries, including buy now, pay later and payday loans.
Wow, that was like America during Joe Biden. Are things they sound pretty dire. You've got people moving from America because they have TDS, finding when they move to Canada, rent is so much higher, groceries are so much higher. You can't make a living. You can't have a job just by moving to Canada, among other things. But how are things? And I'm not making light of this at all. I don't like it when people suffer. We went through the same damn thing when Joe Biden was the president. Go ahead.
No, it's very true. We are in a situation now where we believe that we may be in a slight depression.
Wow.
The economy shows us that we are losing jobs. We also can see that the birth rate is down.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors that are happening. The tariffs in the auto industry are not helping us.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, our debt still remains. We have one of the highest debt in the GDP, in the G7.
Mm-hmm.
We have the lowest growth. And yes, trying to rent somewhere is a huge challenge. And
Unreal.
We have 1 million people per month are going to food banks here. Unfortunately, I think Canadians voted for Liberals instead of a Conservative government that would have had a more realistic point of view and cut some things. But again, unfortunately, Canada didn't see the light, and I think the silent majority of Conservatives, Rob, are very disappointed at this point.
What about Alberta? I mean, is it gaining momentum? They're wanting to secede. Is it gaining momentum? Because I got to tell you, I'd want to get the hell out.
Well, let's first understand that Alberta had been taken advantage of for some time because of its oil riches and had carbon tax put on them. So they're using the secession key as a blackmail tool, if you wish.
Yeah.
And they had to get, I think it's 600,000 signatures before it could be put on the ballot. There is a very good likelihood that it may enter on the ballot because there's a lot of people who are upset. Also, if you look at the amount of taxes and the amount of money that the province of Alberta pays to the government of Canada, it is much larger than many other provinces, which is unfair. So.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. It sounds like Canada is a one big California is what it sounds like. I mean, these are the same policies. These are the same policies that are causing people to leave, the New York and California, among other places. Kathy Hochul yesterday said that it's your patriotic duty to come back to New York and pay higher taxes and regulations, to continue the generous welfare state. Come back from from Florida. Like, that's going to happen. I mean, give me a friggin' break. But I got another piece of audio I want to share with you because, you know, listen, I even do show prep for your show, dude. When I have you on, I do show prep for you. Isn't this crazy? It's kind of crazy because I have no life.
I love you, Rob.
I have no life. Here is the speaker at the Empire Club of Canada. They are doubling down on what the United States completely rejected, and that is EVs.
Embrace the vision that we are and we will continue to build the best cars in the world for the world. And what I mean by that is we're doubling down on electrification because that's where capital is going in the world.
No, it's not actually. It did a face plant here in the United States. And if I'm not mistaken, Canada gets pretty cold in the wintertime, and EVs are worthless in the wintertime. I'm honestly, what the heck there, Michael? What the heck?
Well, just consider that Carney decided that he was going to accept 49,000 Chinese EV vehicles.
I know.
What the heck do you think that's going to do to our auto?
Yeah.
That's going between Windsor and Canada. And also, when you consider, what the heck does Alberta have? Oil. What does the United States have? Oil. Do you think that the internal combustion engine is going to die? Not.
No.
And also, if you consider the cost of an EV vehicle, the general family can't afford it. So it's a ridiculous pursuit.
Well, I just saw there was a school district in New Jersey. They had these EV school buses, and it turns out with a diesel school bus, it's 35 cents a mile. With an EV school bus, particularly in the winter, it's $3.50 a bloody mile to run that stupid bus. And honestly, there's a time and a place for EVs. I get it. There is a time and a place for EVs. They're just never going to be hauling, tractor trailers. They're not going to be. They're in colder climates. They don't perform very well, and that's just the way it is. But Canada doesn't get it.
And John, what we have to understand, Rob, is that the market should determine what happens. You can't force the market.
Yeah.
If you could make EVs more inexpensive, smaller, less insurance cost, and that after 100,000 miles you don't have to replace the batteries at a cost of $15,000 or $20,000. Then maybe you can make it more economical.
And then also you forgot to mention that maybe you got to have a power source to charge the battery, and that's outside of the car. All an EV has a battery. That's it. The power has to be made at a natural gas plant, a nuclear plant, or a coal-fired plant. That's just the way it is. That's why it's so stupid, Michael. Plug-in EVs are good because I know this is old cars, you use deceleration and braking to charge the battery, but you have a gas engine to rely on. So that's a much better choice.
We don't have the electrical grid. Neither do you in the States. We don't have the electrical grid to accommodate that. That's why in California they were saying they were stopping selling EVs because they couldn't help it because they had brownouts all the time.
100%. Nothing worse than a brownout. All right, so coming up, we got a bunch of things that I want to get to, including Polyev calling for an auto tariff-free zone, pro-Trump demonstrators clashing with anti-Semitic demonstrators in Montreal, and Katy Perry and soy boy Justin Trudeau on the other side of the break with Michael Charbon on the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere. More with Michael Charbon of the Charbon Report in just one moment. Michael A. Charbon, that's Charbon on Twitter. Gold is becoming more affordable for you this week. $4,592, so $4,600 for an ounce of gold right now. That, of course, was worth $2,600 a year and a half ago. So you're still $2,000 per ounce ahead of where it was. A lot of instability in the world right now means that gold is giving you an opportunity to buy in while it's a little bit low before it begins its stratospheric rise, which it's had for the last couple of years. Central banks are buying gold. I bought gold. I don't have a lot of money to, just throw around. So I wanted to choose a great investment. I listened to Birch Gold, the company that I invest in, and I decided to take that money and do something with it because it was just laying there in a 401k like Joe Biden on a beach chair, just doing nothing, just laying there. It wasn't exactly like Joe Biden. It wasn't pooping its pants, but it was just laying there. So I said, you know what? I'm going to call Birch Gold. I texted my name, Rob, to 98989. I did. I'm not screwing around either. I'm not screwing around. I texted my name, Rob, to 98988. They got in touch with me, and then I did the whole deal just like you do. And I got somebody on for my 401k, got somebody on for Birch Gold. They talked to each other. I was on the phone going, hey, I'm over here. They're like talking to each other, Oh, yeah, whatever, Rob Carson, who cares? Anyway, so they got it done. Boom, transferred the money. I think I got in like $4,500. Which is perfect because it was $5,600 in January, and we're off to the races. Text my name, Rob, to 989898 for some no obligation information about investing in gold and buy while it's low. Birch Gold. Text Rob to 989898. That's Rob to 989898. Michael Charbon of the Charbon Report. I got to tell you, I'm very proud of the people of Canada. You guys kind of whizzed on the trucker protests in Ottawa way back in 2020 or so. But Canadians have been joining global protests in solidarity with Iranian freedom. Like 350,000 people in Toronto earlier this year. And so it sounds like, that's pretty cool. I just want to congratulate the country of Canada for doing that.
Well, Rob, I got to say that there are a silent majority in Canada that is very alarmed at the anti-Semitic demonstrations, which include Palestinian flags and radical Islamists who are saying that the Iranian regime and the Ayatollah was good. There are many Canadians who are alarmed. We don't want to descend down the same route that the UK is descending on. And there are many people in the Judeo-Christian Society of Canada that is alarmed. And this is not a good thing.
Well, so are we, dude. I mean, it's happening in New York City. It's happening in Texas. It's happening here. This is a global movement. And we've got to kick its butt before it goes any further. But it's happened in Europe already.
Freedom of speech says that everybody is allowed to express their opinion. What it descended to in the UK now, with the police knocking on your door in a social post. I know. That's when it's gone too far. And now they're saying that they're going to pass a law that criticism of religions can also put you in jail. This is where we have to draw a line.
Oh, I swear to God.
I know many Iranians who came here in the 1980s and are absolutely crying every day, hoping that their family and friends will come to a democracy because Donald Trump saved their family's life. And that's the reality.
Well, we got the same dynamic going. You've got people who are moving into your country, are not assimilating, and are trying to convert your government into something that they want, which is Sharia. Let's move on. Polyev is calling for an auto-free tariff zone. What is that all about, bro?
So, you know what? I said this on your show, I'm going to say 2.5 years ago, and you concurred. Canada has basically, the United States buys 90% of all of Canada's cars. And Canadians buy twice as many cars as we manufacture. So guess where we're buying cars from? The U.S. If Canada and the United States says we have an auto-free zone, we are already so integrated. GM, Ford, Chrysler. I mean, even from the standpoint of making parts, just-in-time parts across the border. I think it's over $1 million a day that crosses the border in Windsor because we are integrated.
Yes,
we have to make sense of this.
Let me make a prediction for you. If Poilievre becomes your prime minister, Trump is going to drop all this, bro. He's going to. I have no doubt that he's putting the heavy on Canada right now because of the jackweed you've got in charge.
Well, you know what, Rob? I can't answer that question because I'm going to tell you, every time we talk about elections, it looks like the conservatives are finally going to take it. And I don't know what happens to Canada. Like I said, it's like Groundhog Day, and then the liberals get back in again. And the liberals are spend deficit. And hold hands and sing Kumbaya and don't hold people accountable. We can't do that anymore. And Donald Trump is showing the way of what conservatism and realistic budgeting. Now, I must say, unfortunately, Rob, your deficit went up again.
I know, it's ridiculous.
I hope that Donald Trump's going to take care of your deficit after all this Iran business.
All right, we got to wrap things up. One more thing here. You mentioned Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau. I guess she likes soy boys, right? I mean, honestly, dear God, what kind of a man is Justin Trudeau? He probably rides side saddle. When they ride a bike, he probably rides on the handlebars.
So he's got 3 kids, and Katy Perry has 1. She's 41 years old. He's 54.
Yeah.
Here was the perfect scenario of liberals with private airlines posting stuff on Instagram, all cutie. It's the best stuff to look at if you're on a diet and you don't want to eat. That's the way I look at it.
Just saying, if I were a woman, I would want a man who could actually open a jelly jar, not rely on yourself to do it. Honestly, unbelievable. Michael Charbon, always great to have you on, brother. Where can people find your glorious presence online and on television?
Glorious presence, michaelacharbon.com. I'm also on YouTube at the Charbon Report, and it's always a pleasure to be with you.
All right, but we'll talk again soon. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Hey, listen, are you a...
Hi, guys. Having fun today? Are you having fun? We got our streaming issues taken care of. It looks like I don't want to tempt fate here. But I'll tell you what it was. I'm just going to tell you. I got T-Mobile. T-Mobile is, I didn't even know they had Wi-Fi and whatnot. I didn't know it. And I don't have a T-Mobile phone. So I'm at this Xfinity store. And I said, well, your Wi-Fi sucks. And as I'm standing, I was standing in front of the store because I was trying to get my speed, upgraded. And this woman goes, "Oh no, I switched to T-Mobile." And I'm like, "Okay, all right." And so I switched to T-Mobile. I got it at home. Boom. I mean, it was taking me to put a 90-second video on Twitter. It was taking me 5 minutes, multiple tries and fails. Just pathetic. And so we got to T-Mobile. This isn't a plug. They're not paying me. It's working. It's working well. So, and I wanted you to be able to see a quality product. So here we go. Stanley, 66-year-old. You're 66-year-old? I wouldn't put that in my profile name, but anyway. Let's see. Good to have you here, by the way. I'm just teasing you. What is that, 174? Good to see you there. You guys have crazy names. You have crazy names. Look at this. Local Ken. I think you're pretty new. Stanley, again, 66-year-old. Glad to have you there. A lot of new people on YouTube. Over here on let's look at Rumbly. My Rumbly Rose. Dookie Bear. Gary Madden, Scarecrow. Wild Bill West. What's up? Hope you're having a good Pat Carr. Always good to see you guys there. I'm just so glad that we got the streaming issues figured out because I know how frustrating it is for you. And I mean this from out of my heart. I can't tell you what it means to know you watch this. And did you know that you guys on average watch this an hour and 40 minutes every day? Unheard of. Okay. Chris Stapleton. Chris Stapleton. Oh my goodness. So good. One of the many artists that I love to listen to. I got a lot of great artists. I lost my voice here for a second. Going on. Anyway, we got a lot of things I want to get to before the end of the show. I think we're going to talk about the SAVE Act after the top of next hour. There's a lot of stuff going on there. And people are, Donald Trump, since day one of Operation Epic Fury, which is one of the most successful military campaigns in the history of our country and the history of the world, absolutely annihilating a formerly powerful military. It is an amazing thing that has happened. And the left is so, they want Donald Trump defeated, even if it means another generation of Iranian women living in bondage, even if it means the Ayatollahs still being in power. That's how wrong-sided the left and the Democrats are. Here is Stephen Miller, one of my favorite guys. It's Miller time, talking about our success.
This is a conflict that has only days long.
I love the way this guy talks.
The United States has achieved its objectives even faster than anybody thought possible.
Yeah.
President Trump was aware of and has calculated through.
I've never been prouder of our military. I mean, I've always been proud of our military, but man, oh man, you should be proud of yourself.
Every permutation and every degree of strategy.
Kick butt.
This has been by far the most overwhelming victory based on the objectives. So in other words, victory over the Navy, victory over the Air Force, victory over the missile launchers. In terms of each individual military objective,
nuclear,
ahead of schedule.
Boom.
So that's where we are right now.
Yes.
And again, the president has very wisely, very intelligently created maximum leverage for the United States by building up our energy independence as we engage in this conflict. But just imagine, Laura, just think through this for a second. If Iran had long-range missiles, if Iran had thousands more missiles that they could aim at Europe and the United States and our bases, and they were as powerful as they were going to be under the Obama deal, who had a nuclear weapon and the ability to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, then the whole world would be at the mercy of this terrorist regime.
And guess what? NATO was on board. Here's the chairman of NATO talking about how they're going to keep Hormuz open.
Of the ballistic missiles, of the nuclear capability is severely degraded.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Strait of Hormuz, I've been in contact with many allies.
What?
We all agree, of course, that strait has to open up again. And what I know is that allies are working together, discussing how to do that. What is the best way to do it?
Wow.
They're working on that collectively to find a way forward.
Even the elites, even the NATO, even the EU and all of that, they want to be on the right side of history because it's going very, very well. And I just hope and pray that there is freedom for the people of Iran and they can return to a time that that women could actually earn a living and be free, and Iran could experience capitalism and freedom, and the Persian people could fulfill their possibilities, because they're amazing people. They're really awesome. All right, we got another hour of the show. Actually, 2 more. Hour number 2 is next. Don't go anywhere.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 2 of the show. Theo Wold is going to be joining us, former Assistant Attorney General, former White House Deputy Assistant for Domestic Policy. That is just so fancy, right? I mean, I got people on here who have titles like this. What the hell? Pretty crazy. We're going to talk about California fraud and the SAVE Act, which you're going to get. Oh, listen, it's breaking news. Oh, my God, the elites of the world, the EU, NATO, and all of this, they're coming around because they're seeing that Donald Trump is seriously kicking some major butt in Iran, and now they want to get behind keeping the Straits of Hormuz open.
In the White House right now, President Trump is about to meet with Japan.
Rob, we don't need them, by the way. We don't need the shipping lanes, or we don't need the oil. This is all about Europe and all you guys. The Straits of Hormuz is for you guys. And Donald Trump's like, hey, honestly, if you want it open, you're going to help us out a little bit. That's basically it. So, you want to help us out, that'd be great. If you don't, then, you're going to kind of be toast. So there you go. The world is coming around. The world is coming around because they're recognizing what is happening is amazing and historic. And our military is leading the way. Our military is on the cusp of changing the face of the Middle East, peace of the Middle East for the first time in a millennia. If I'm not mistaken, I had some audio from General Kane this morning talking about the success of Operation Epic Fury and where we are right now. Let me grab that real quick.
Audio's not playing.
That's what Democrats are saying. Democrats are saying it's failing. Chris Murphy's saying it's failing.
WCBN audio not playing.
Oh, WCBN audio is not playing. How about now? Is it playing right now? WCBN audio right now? I will have to double check real quick here because we have an issue with the connectivity. Hold on one second. I apologize. Let me go ahead no, we should be there. We should be there. Not sure exactly what the issue is. Is everybody, Brian, am I hearing you right now? Yep. Okay, there you go. I don't know what the problem is. Anyway, here we are. Let's move on to the SAVE Act, because I want to talk about the SAVE Act. Here is John Kennedy. I don't know if you knew this, but been talking about how we need 60 votes and all of this, and we need a standing filibuster, not a zombie filibuster, and all of that stuff. Here is John Kennedy talking about what can be done.
We need to try to pass this legislation through reconciliation. Now, you know how reconciliation works, Mr. President. It means
Let's try that again. Here we go.
We need to try to pass this legislation through reconciliation. Now, you know how reconciliation works, Mr. President. It means we can pass this bill with 50 Republican votes and the Vice President to break the tie. That's how we pass the one big, beautiful bill. I would hope to get some of my Democratic friends to support us, but we don't have to have it.
John Kennedy says that we can do it with 50 votes with J.D. Vance. We got that. Why are we going through this all other crap? I'm honest, I'm getting foggy. I'm getting a little foggy with what the heck is going on this SAVE Act. 85% of us want the SAVE Act passed, right? And the only people holding it back are people who want to keep illegals voting and stuff. And here's another thing I want to make it. Nobody else is saying this. Nobody else is saying this about the SAVE Act. You've got Democrats saying that black people and women can't get IDs. Women can't do it after they get married and they change their name and all that stuff, which is stupid, is ridiculous, by the way. It's utterly, utterly ridiculous. And then black people apparently not smart enough to do it. That's what they're saying. But oddly enough, they're only saying that it's black Democrats and Democrat women, because it's not impacting the Republicans. Why is it not keeping Republican women and Republican blacks from voting? It's stupid. It's just stupid. And the Democrat Party should be saying, hey, man, if there are people out there who don't have an ID, we got to help them get ID, because you've got to be able to survive, and you need an ID to survive. I found this piece out of Uganda. I just was goofing around, and I said, you know what? If you're not I said the only people without IDs are ghosts. That's what I said. The only people without IDs are ghosts. And this is a headline from this column from 2026, earlier this year. Without an ID, you're a ghost. Yeah. In Uganda today, citizenship is increasingly mediated by a number, the national identification, printed on a small plastic card. It unlocks bank accounts, SIM cards, loans, government programs, passports, the right to vote. Without it, participation in society is not merely delayed, it's denied. What? Yeah, without it, you're like a ghost. For Jackson Empire, I guess a guy who works in a place called Kampala, the national ID is not a document, it's survival. If you don't have an ID, you can't access a loan. Some schools can demand parents' IDs for child enrollment. Without it, a person effectively disappears from systems built on digital verification with voter registration tied to national IDs. This is Uganda, for God's sake. In Uganda, you got to have an ID to survive. If, in fact, there are people in our society who are naturalized citizens who don't have ID, you would think that the Democrat Party would say, we've got to make sure everybody gets an ID. Not say that we shouldn't require an ID. Because clearly, if there are people without an ID, they are suffering. They are suffering right now. They can't survive. But you see, the only kind of identification the Democrats don't want is to get to vote, because they want illegals to vote. It should be obvious. What I'm saying here is not impossible to understand. Not impossible to understand. Here's Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi said the same thing about 50 votes plus one being the VP.
Makes a big difference.
That would take 2/3 in the Senate. You think the Democrats can get 2/3 in the Senate?
No, it doesn't get 2/3.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. I mean, 60 votes is the Senate now, but if we win 50 plus one in the Senate, 50 plus the vice president, we can overturn the 60 vote rule.
The filibuster,
and pass it with a 51 vote margin. And that's what we need.
How in the hell did she know that in 2024? And we are just now discovering it today. Seriously. John Thune, what the hell is your problem? I want to go to Mark in Baltimore. Mark, welcome to the Rob Carson Show. What's on your mind today?
Yes, good afternoon and shalom. You were talking about the SAVED Act, and I hope it passes both houses that Congress and signed by the White House quickly, because we're in the primary season, and here in the state of Maryland, which is the primary system starting in June of 2026. I work as a call for the election judge or chief precinct judge now.
Yeah, nice.
And the only time that we're required to ask for ID, if in the poll book, for some strange reason, if a prospective voter is asked to show their ID. Otherwise, we're not even allowed to ask for their ID.
Of course.
And so forth. So it is important because, there's here in Maryland, we got areas that are sanctuary oriented.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
That means who knows what and all that. So I do support whatever effort it is to make our jobs easier, because we believe in integrity, accuracy, and accountability.
Yeah, and I believe Maryland needs to pull its head out of its rear end, because honestly, Maryland could be a great state. It really, really could. I loved living in Maryland, but it is so bat guano crazy, high taxes, highest utility bills in the country. Mark, you can attest to this. Highest utility bills in the country, because like 60% of the energy has to be created outside of Maryland because of stupidity, because of this mayor, this governor, I should say, Wes Moore, who cares more about running for the presidency than anything else. Mark, I appreciate you, man. Gotta run. Here's Chuck Schumer admitting the SAVE Act boots illegals from the voter rolls.
The core of the bill is handing the voter rolls over to DHS, putting them through an algorithm designed by Moj and Musk that supposedly knocks out illegal immigrants.
He just said it. He said it knocks illegals off the voting rolls. Now listen how he justifies it.
The core of the bill is handing the voter rolls over to DHS, putting them through an algorithm designed by Moj and Musk that supposedly knocks out illegal immigrants from voting. But the evidence is almost no illegal immigrants vote.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely full of crap, you see, because you can't investigate voter fraud in states like California. They don't investigate voter fraud in places like California, okay? That's just the way it is. So, honestly, you are so full of it, it's not even, you just gave up the ghost there, bro. You just gave up the ghost. This is what it's about, taking illegals off the voter rolls. And I don't care if it's one illegal. That's a stolen vote. One is enough to require an ID. One vote stolen is a national tragedy, because the vote is everything. representation is everything. We had a revolutionary war over taxation without representation. So I would be more concerned about getting legal residents who don't have IDs some IDs. But those people don't exist. Those people don't exist. The Democrat Party's making it sound, oh, black people, women can't get IDs. They've already got them. There's nobody except for maybe even homeless people have it because they go in there, get, whatever. They might go into Seattle and get their free needles or whatever. Got to be able to say who they are. I have no idea. But everybody's got an ID. You know who doesn't have a legitimate ID to show that they're a citizen? People who aren't citizens. Oh, it's painful. Yesterday at the hearing for the confirmation of Mark Wayne Mullen as the DHS secretary, Democrats had their panties in a bunch, even the men, because they all wear panties, had their panties in a bunch about the possibility that ICE could be outside of polling places. Now, they've already made the choice. Like I heard Hakeem Jeffries, he says he doesn't want ICE in churches. He doesn't want ICE in hospitals. He doesn't want ICE at schools. And he doesn't want them at polling places. Okay, so here's the deal. Illegals might have kids in school. Illegals might need, a hospital treatment. Illegals might go to church. Why would illegals go to polling places? Yeah, it should be obvious.
To put uniform.
This is Elise Slotkin. She's got her panties in a bunch about the possibility of ICE being at polling places.
To put uniformed officers at polling locations in 2026.
Ma'am, we said this in your office. The only reason why my officers would be there if there was a specific threat for them to be there, not for intimidation. And
so
I said
even though we didn't need it during World War II, we didn't need it during Vietnam or the War on Terror, we never had to put uniform military.
They are so desperate. They're just pulling out every excuse. They're pulling it all out because they know, like Chuck Schumer said, they want to take illegals off the voter rolls.
Military there now. You feel that there's going to be a reason that there's going to be an armed threat to the United States that you
no,
need
ma'am.
to.
Is that what it is? Okay.
I can't sit there and guarantee hypothetically what threat would be and not. I'm not putting military. That's not within my
uniformed officers.
But if there is a threat, a specific threat, say it's in a Jewish community, and there is a threat that's specific to that polling area, then we will work with local law enforcement. There'll be a reason for us to be there, and it'll be known why we're there.
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, the Democrat Party is they've shown their cards. There's no doubt about it. Anyone with a modicum of common sense knows that they're showing their cards, and they only want illegals to be on the voter rolls. That's it. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Veterans and Poor little Democrats. Are you guys okay today? I came in to check on you. Every time Trump does something good, you guys spaz out. Would you guys shut up and let him work?
Metallica, thank you very much. You can thank me now. Go ahead. I heard you. Thank you. You're welcome. So Joe Kent previously argued Iran was a threat to the United States, pushed for wiping out the nuclear and missile capabilities. Donald Trump mentioned that today. Joe Kent stepped down from his position with the National Counterterrorism Center and all of that stuff. And, and then, of course, we got the poll from Harry Hinton that shows that Trump supporters are 100% behind Donald Trump, and 90% of Trump supporters and Republicans are in favor of what we're doing in Iran. So there is that. But it looks like Donald Trump is pushing back on this. Donald Trump said, Joe Kent said, we should not sit back and wait for the next attack, wipe Iran's ballistic capability out, get our troops out of Iraq. They are only targets now. There you go. And Donald Trump reposted that this morning. Rob Fennerty, by the way, have you been watching Newsmax lately? Holy hell. I mean, honestly, it's spectacular. You get the same old over on Fox. Same old. Yesterday, I saw a little bit of one of their main anchors kind of sliding towards the Tucker Carlson wing of the party. I'll just tell you that right now. A girl who hosts an evening news show. That's all I was kind of like, really, you want to go there? I hope you're not going there, because Tucker is off the reservation, as it were. Here's Rob Fennerty talking about on Newsmax last night. Joe Kent.
But some guy who worked in counterterrorism resigns on really official-looking letterhead.
You're not going to get commentary like this anywhere else. I promise you this.
And then goes on a podcast tour today.
Yeah.
And it was the biggest story in America for only one reason.
What's that, Rob?
Because the left could use it against Donald Trump. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
That's why you keep hearing about Joe Kent.
That's true.
Who is now under FBI investigation.
Oh, yeah, there's that.
Marjorie Taylor Greene tweets.
He is for leaking classified documents. Apparently, it was before this happened. They already knew about it.
That Joe Kent is an American hero, really. Is he, Marjorie? Is he really an American hero? In his resignation letter, Kent said he couldn't, quote, in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran.
That's kind of funny, because in good conscience, I can. That's kind of weird.
Which is really strange, because in 2022, the same guy, Joe Kent, tweeted to Donald Trump directly that we can't sit here and wait for the next attack. We should wipe out Iran's ballistic missile capability right now.
Holy hell, that sounds like Iran was a threat.
Now, which again is interesting, because that's exactly what Donald Trump just did. Not only that, but the same legacy media that were praising Joe Kent yesterday are literally accusing him of treason. Now,
the Trump administration is now politicizing national intelligence. Two sources tell NBC News that Joe Kent, Chief of Staff, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, urged analysts to revise an assessment of the Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, after it came to light that the assessment contradicted public statements from Donald Trump. Joe Kent pushed the analysts to make changes to protect his boss and the president from being attacked. Kent wrote in an email.
Yeah, this is the media is so transparently biased and pathetic. And you think they'd learn after a while. They wanted to save their rear ends and, have some ratings. And it just never changes. It's same old, same old. They're just spiraling out of control. Newsmax kicking butt. Greg Kelly, war hero, by the way. Greg Kelly, if you knew that. Greg Kelly's a war hero, spectacular human being. Here is Greg Kelly last night on Newsmax talking about, again, this is a commentary you're only going to hear on Newsmax. It's just good. Here's Greg.
Take a look at this. It is set up. The Director of National Counterterrorism, his name is Joe Kent. And with everything going on right now, a patriot would do everything they could to save America.
You would think 2 weeks into the largest military operation in probably U.S. history since World War II, that is wildly successful. As someone who is truly a faithful patriot and not a political apparatchik who doesn't like Donald Trump, would sit on it, wait for it, instead of shooting it down 2 weeks in.
But not this guy.
Yes.
Joe Kent, in this moment, decided to quit. He quit. He walked off the job.
Yeah, he wouldn't have done that. Not Greg Kelly when he was on the battlefield, man, risking his life for America.
Crazy? What are you doing? They're coming to get us. This is when we need everybody. All right.
Yeah, there you go. But of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Joe Kent, honestly, in the grand scheme of things, they don't mean squat. Here is Jim Gossett as the president singing about Joe Kent on the Rob Carson Show.
Flip-flop Joe Kent won't stop. New position every day. My, he likes to lie. No telling what he's gonna say. Now he says Iran's no threat.
No.
Did Joe Kent somehow forget?
Oh, yeah, I did.
He favored war. Not anymore.
He did,
Flip-flop. Reverse Joe's curse. I'm so happy Joe can't quit. Too late to vacillate. He was never a good fit.
There you go.
His old tweets I expose. Attacking Iran, Joe never opposed.
Nope.
Backtrack and get no flack from the left. Hesitate and fluctuate.
Yeah.
Singing a different tune. Has it in at CNN. He'll be on the air there soon. All his posts he cannot hide.
No.
We know how much he lied. My. Nice try, Joe Kent.
There you go. That's Jim Gossett. That is Jim Gossett. That's the first time I listened to the whole. I heard a little bit of this morning. I was like, because I trust him so much. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be good. I'll just put it on. And wow, he does not disappoint. I swear to God. Jim Gossett, go to patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy, and pledge about $10 a month, $20 a month, whatever. He'll send you 2 terrific pieces of comedy every single day. He's prolific and amazing. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson for Shopify. You know, for years I have had a swag line of T-shirts with catchy phrases and whatnot, and it's just been lying there. Well, I've decided to go with Shopify and actually make money with my own business. Shopify gives you everything you need to sell online and in person. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made this leap, from household names to first-time business owners just getting started. Choose from hundreds of beautiful templates you can customize to match your brand instead of just having a lousy website that nobody notices like I have been doing for years. Set up fast with Shopify's built-in AI tools that write product descriptions and headlines, create email and social campaigns that reach customers wherever they scroll. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Newsmax. Go to shopify.com/Newsmax. Make building a successful business your 2026 New Year's resolution. Hey guys, it's Carson. I just got a ghost bed. Yeah, no, pay attention here, because I've been sleeping on a foam mattress since I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, which is like sleeping on the sponge in your sink. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks, not fluff. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I have been sleeping past 7 a.m. on my Ghost Bed. It's unbelievable. If you wake up stiff, you toss and turn, if you sleep hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. It's your mattress talking. Another great thing I love about Ghost Bed, you get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, you can send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is offering my audience their lowest prices of the season, plus an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. You are going to love your new Ghost Bed.
The core of the bill is handing the voter rolls over to DHS, putting them through an algorithm designed by Moj and Musk that supposedly knocks out illegal immigrants from voting. But the evidence is almost no illegal immigrants vote.
So there is Chuck Schumer admitting that they are illegals on the voter rolls, but they don't vote. And, of course, states like California, they don't investigate voter fraud at all. So there's that. Joining us on the Newsmax hotline is Theo Wold, former deputy assistant to President Trump, former Idaho Solicitor General as well. How you doing today, friend? What's going on?
I'm doing good, Rob. Thanks for having me on. It's good to be with you.
You know, I was thinking about this. I'd love to know your thoughts. The Democrat Party is freaking out about the possibility of illegals being taken off the voter rolls. Yesterday, during the DHS confirmation hearings of Mark Wayne Mullen, you had people their panties in a bunch about possibility of ICE agents outside of polling places. Why would illegals go to polling places?
Yeah, it's a great question, Rob. It's a really good question. And it's one that no one has really, in the mainstream media, has bothered to ask Democrats. Here's another one for you. A super majority of House Democrats yesterday voted not to deport foreigners who commit criminal welfare fraud against the American taxpayers. Why are Democrats against? Why are Democrats against that?
Because they brought so many illegals here, loaded them up with government largesse to ensure that they'll vote Democrat. Duh. I mean, right?
It's exactly right. It's exactly right, Rob. Keep them on the voter rolls and then pass out the American taxpayers' hard-earned dollars to ensure they remain a part of the liberal leftist coalition, and you get what is, for the Democrats, a simple pathway to electoral majority.
You know, what's really sickening also is people are coming to this country pledging their allegiance to a party, and government program. They're not wanting to assimilate. They're not wanting to become a part of the fabric of society, become productive members of society. We're seeing this with Somalians. I could say that it's not racist or anything. In Minnesota and other states around the country, the Democrat Party has found a group of people who are willing to come to America, not assimilate, not appreciate the culture, to just be ticks on the American taxpayer and vote Democrat. It really is very incredibly destructive to the country.
It's destructive to the country, but here's another thing, Rob, that a lot of folks have missed so far, and there was some excellent reporting on this week about the just massive amount of money that is leaving the country to build up free enterprise, housing, hospital systems, and military capabilities in places like Somalia, in places like India. So it's not just that they're here, and this was true, as you know, in the 1990s, where foreign nationals were coming into our country and living off of entitlement programs and not working, not assimilating. But what's new now is they are literally defrauding the American people of their own money to build up other nations that, in many instances, like with Somalia, have strategic interests that are diametrically opposed to the United States.
Well, I mean, this is more than that because obviously America is the most generous country in the history of mankind with our wealth. We have been over the years. We have given and given and given and given some more to the well-being of the entire world, not only money, but also blood. I might mention blood as well. And so honestly, a little redundant on that, a little selfish on their part, but more importantly, in places like Somalia, money going there to fund terrorism.
Yeah, to fund the very agents, as you noted, who not only harmed American strategic or foreign policy interests, but spilt American blood. That's exactly right, Rob.
I got to tell you, and then the more that I watch the Democrat Party, the more I realize what a crooked cabal they are. I mean, really, they're not a force for good. I've said that the Democrat Party needed to reinvent itself or disappear into the dustbin of history. They're leaning into the dustbin, and I want you to think about this, Theo, because we've got 97% of Republicans support the SAVE Act. Okay, essentially, like 90-some whatever percent. That equals the number of Republicans in the Senate who support it. The Democrat Party, Democrats support it 70% of the time, 76% of blacks, I think 83% of Hispanics. 100% of Democrats are against it. So if I were a Democrat, I would be very upset because you are not being represented at all whatsoever in Congress. The same goes with this transgender nonsense. It's a 95-5 issue. But 100% of Democrats on Capitol Hill are down with it. This party is so beyond out of touch. And I'm just hoping that Democrat voters are beginning to recognize this.
Yeah, but here's the question, Rob. Who are the Democrat voters? Two things you're mentioning here.
Yeah.
One, with the SAVE Act, the requirement that you have proof of citizenship to vote in our elections. The other that is sort of implied in the subtext of this debate going on is birthright citizenship. So just today we learned that one of the new heads of the most powerful cartels in Mexico is by birthright citizenship a U.S. citizen, complicating the ability for DHS and some of our intelligence services, law enforcement interests to go after him because he's an American citizen. So the question has to be asked of the Democrat Party at this point with the welfare vote, with the expansion of these fraud programs, right? I mean, they've created a constellation. It's not just accidents. It's not just a moving target. It's a constellation of organized theft. And then you add something in here of their defense of birthright citizenship. It turns out that maybe their voters aren't American.
100%. That's what happened with Zoran Mandami, dude. He had 65% of his voters are from out of the country. And again, they are not wanting to assimilate. They do not want America as founded. They want government largesse. They want either Marxism, communism, or Sharia. That's it. And that's what we've got right now. And go ahead.
I was going to say, Rob, and your point is exactly right. And it puts to bed this long-running canard. You hear it all the time. Super Bowl watch party. Someone's always got an uncle or cousin who makes this point. You hear it every day on MSNBC, which is, well, this is immigration that we've always had. It's no different than the Irish or the Italians. And it is diametrically different because Southern Europeans or the Irish or the waves of Germans who came in the founding of the Republic all desired one essential thing, which was to assimilate, to the American way of life. And that has entirely been dispensed with by the wave after wave of mass migration we've had since the 1970s.
You know, the Democrat Party, they always act like we just discovered this, you know. Meanwhile, you know, my ancestors were immigrants, okay? They weren't, how many, actually, Americans, we're all immigrants, bro. We've always been a great American melting pot, and the Democrat Party is acting like this is somehow new. It's just they are reinventing what immigration is about. We've known it's to come here from the armpits of the world or wherever, or where you don't experience religious freedom or whatever, and you move here, even if you've got pennies in your pocket, and you know that you're going to be able to make it, and you live that dream. That's not the immigration that Democrats want. Because immigrants, like the past, are patriotic and believe in the country and the Constitution. The Democrats want a new form of immigration which hates America as founded and is slavish to the Democrat Party. That's it.
Yeah, and there's an essential truth in there, Rob, that you just said, which is the constitutional founding of the country. Because if we wanted to boil this all down, go read the academic literature that the Democrat Party elites have been pumping out, not just in universities, they put it in popular press, it's everywhere. And the entire systematic goal of the left in this country is to deconstruct the constitutional self-governing principle that the nation was founding on. That's what it's all about. They call it decolonization, they call it wokeism, they call it queer studies, but all of it is targeted at deconstructing this nation as we know it. Yeah. And look, and it's on steroids now. And they have the mass of people, as you mentioned, the Mamdani election is sort of exemplifies this, which is the American voting population now has they are at an asymmetrical disadvantage to the massive number of people who have been imported here who, you know, look, they hear a name like Michael Dukakis and they think that's some kind of Athenian general. That's how little history most of these people have about our country, let alone our founding. And so we're in hot water here, Rob.
Yeah, we are. We've got to start kicking ass and taking names. Theo Wold, I want to continue the conversation on the other side of the break. Massive fraud uncovered in California by Nick Shirley, among others. And Gavin Newsom essentially calls him a pedophile for it. I mean, ridiculous. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
9 FM in Harford County.
There we go.
Yes, the governor of California is an enemy to the people of California. He's literally working to support the fraudsters. Meanwhile, he could be working to expose the fraud. I mean, how stupid do you have to be to say, okay, let's go after the guy who's exposing the fraud. Let's not go after the fraudsters. That is what he's doing, what he's actively doing each and every single day when he makes out these statements, and all he does is blame the people who are showing the fraud. Why doesn't he say, hey, Nick, great video. How can we help?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
That's what I would say.
That is Nick Shirley, by the way. Let me kill this audio. That is Nick Shirley talking last night about Gavin Newsom. He has uncovered what we already knew existed out there, a massive amount of fraud using Medicare. And what they're saying, $250-300 billion in fraud in California. A lot of it has to do with this hospice care stuff, just like the autism charities in Minneapolis exploding by 1,000% over the last few years, going into strip malls, finding people driving $100,000, $200,000 cars, no people being treated, run by the Armenian mafia. And what does Gavin Newsom do? He has a picture of Nick Shirley wearing a camera on his head, saying that he's essentially a pedophile looking for children at daycare centers where kids aren't being enrolled. I mean, what the hell? What the hell is wrong with you, man? Gavin Newsom will never be the president of the United States. He will never be the president of the United States. And God willing, he will be removed from office. And I would love to see him go to jail with Tim Fleitz of Minnesota. Theo Wold, what do you think about this reaction from Gavin Newsom to Nick Shirley uncovering so much fraud?
Rob, look, this is more of the same for Democrats. One thing that your listeners have to keep in mind here is Democrats have run the state of California since 2005. Top to bottom, they have every constitutional statewide office, almost all of the seats in the congressional delegation. They even control most of the county governments, even those that are way up in the foothills in the Sierra. So this is their state, their policies. And what you see when you have that concept in your mind, what you see is the fraud, whether it's the high-speed rail system that was $9.5 billion of federal taxpayer subsidies, the 89 hospice care providers in one building, none of which actually exist. All of the fraud is a feature, not a bug, of far-left uniparty control. If you want Democrats to run everything, this is what you get. Graft, massive amounts of fraud, and a total wealth transfer from the American taxpayer to foreign nationals. Again and again on repeat. This is Gavin Newsom's California.
I swear to God, and it's going on all over the country. It is going all the way around the country. Over in Maryland, I live in Virginia. Maryland is right with fraud. That's going to be next. Over here in Virginia, where I just moved 6 months ago, Abigail Scamberger, she has lied about who she was and misrepresented the Democrats in the legislature here literally have proposed. Are you ready for this? Unlimited money to NGOs and charities and no ability to audit them or investigate them for fraud. That's how transparent they're being about what they want to do in the state of Virginia. They're looking at the model of Minnesota. They're looking at the model of California here, Theo.
Yeah, and the model is this, Rob. Infrastructure projects that never get built, whether it's the fancy-sounding high-speed rail or the Mountain Lion Bridge that goes nowhere.
Yes.
And then social services that are rife with fraud. And then what's the answer? It goes back to what you said in our last thread there, Rob, which is the answer from Democrats is, well, we couldn't do it. We couldn't govern because, it's the rich people's fault. Wow. So what we need to do now is a wealth tax. And as Mamdani said just the other day, the wealth tax isn't for billionaires alone. It's for anyone making over $100,000 a year.
Yeah, it is.
They're going to redistribute the wealth of the country to pay off their foreign national client rent-seeking constituencies. That's the Democrat Party's model for governance. As you said, whether it's in Virginia or Santa Monica, it's all the same.
It's a death spiral. It's never going to get any better, and it's only going to get worse. It's actually getting much, much worse. You've got Kathy Hochul begging millionaires and business people to come back to New York, like it's their patriotic duty to be overtaxed for these failed government programs.
I mean, at some level, you and I probably had the same reaction to that, Rob, which is, wow, this is so pathetic. But then when you sit and kind of ruminate on it, you're like, oh wow, they just gave up the game.
Oh yeah,
they're running out of people to soak. And this is why I think it's an accessory point for all of your listeners who are in red states or places they think are red states. This is why it's so important to battle the left in red states, to build up the institutional power of red state governments, because they know that people right now have an option. They can flee to Nashville. They can get out and move to Idaho. The problem is going to be that if they import the same kinds of ideas to red states, then we'll all be screwed at that point.
Well, I like to say the Democrat Party are like the aliens from Independence Day. They move in and devour all the resources, then move on. They're just like the aliens, Theo Wold. Theo, I've appreciated having you on the show today again, my brother. Where can people find your glorious work and online presence?
I'm at Real Theo Wold on X, on Instagram, Facebook, and published in Newsweek and Claremont Review books. So look for me online.
All right, I appreciate you being on the show today. Have a glorious weekend. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hi, guys. I wanted to mention this yesterday. The hair. Have you noticed the hair? The hair is looking pretty good. I didn't mention the shampoo I'm using. Write this down. It's called Nioxin. It's called Nioxin, and I've been using it. And I wash with the shampoo, and then I get out and they've got this kind of foaming stuff that you put in there, right? And then I use Rogaine mousse. Now the reason why I use Rogaine mousse, I told you, is it's a really good mousse. It's a really good. I've been using it forever. And then I've been taking this supplement too, but and I've also taken Propecia over the years. So there you go. But I don't know. I was off Propecia for a while. I didn't lose any hair, but I want to keep what I got. But Nioxin and Rogaine mousse. If you're concerned about women and men, by the way, women and men, because you know what, hair loss is as devastating for women, maybe more so than with women. Anyway, wanted you to mention that because I get a lot of comments on the hair. I'm very proud of the hair. The hair is it's still on my head, which I appreciate. All right, who's watching America, Marcy, and all you guys over on the YouTubeage, always there for me. I appreciate you. What about Facebook? What about Facebook? I haven't talked to you guys. Look at all the love I'm getting on Facebook. My God, Kurt McDonald or McMehill, you're new, and Donna Lambert. Hello, Donna Lambert, and all you guys, appreciate you. And Pranay, always good to see you as well. Pranay Yipprashat. Gary Madden, Tom K, Pat Carr on the Rumbly Roost Sport Tech. Good to see you over there. Appreciate you very much. I'm going to have to talk here in 1 second. But thanks for watching, man. I hope you're enjoying the stream. The stream has been really good. I still got so much stuff to get to. Oh, my God. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this next. Here we go.
And being conscious of the facts that I need people who are high net worth to support the generous social programs that we want to have in our state.
That's Kathy Hochul admitting that they just want rich people for government largesse, and she's begging people to come back to New York. And guess what? They're not gonna.
Right. Now, there are some patriotic millionaires who stepped up.
It's not patriotic to support a bloated, ineffective, and wasteful government.
Okay. Cut me the checks. Just, if you want to be supportive, but maybe the first step should be go down to Palm Beach and see who you can bring back home.
Yeah, they're not going to come back, girl. Sorry. No. You screwed the pooch.
Tax base has been eroded. So I philosophically don't have a problem. It is like I have to look at the fact that we are in competition with other states who have...
And you're losing!
Less of a tax burden on their corporations and their individuals. And I would say remote work changed everything. There are people who could only work in an office in Manhattan and work in New York State. And they were captives to our state. They were going to stay.
They were captives in the state.
We saw that that's not the case. I mean, Wall Street businesses looking at Texas.
Yeah.
They're not going there because they have a nicer governor. I know that for sure. But they're going there because of the tax rate. We have to be smart about this. But we can.
Then why are you so stupid? Oh, my God. How stupid are you? Nobody's going to come back. I wouldn't come back. It'd be like going back to an abusive spouse, for God's sake. Are you out of your nut? Ugh. Here is Zoran Mandami begging people not to leave. Begging people, and they're not going to come back. They're going.
Amidst being in the wealthiest city in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, we already see an exodus of working and middle-class New Yorkers. So I don't have a hesitation.
Yeah, because working and middle class can't work there, and rich people don't want to pay for it. The $30 minimum wage, which you idiots are proposing.
And asking those who make the most amount of money in the city or the most profits in the city to pay a little bit more so that everyone can actually stay in this city. It's also
now screw you. I hope these Democrat-run states spiral into hell and bankruptcy. Honestly, to hell with them. I'd leave. And I'm going to tell you what, if Virginia goes down this path, I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave this state. I'm not going to put up with this nonsense. Ridiculous. By the way, the last couple of weeks, I've had a lot of people very interested in climbing in my bed. I just want to be honest about this. It happens. I'm getting people, they're saying, Rob, I want to get in your bed. And I'm like, guys, just go to ghostbed.com/Newsmax. Ghost Bed is this new bed that I got, and I'm sleeping until the sun comes up, which I haven't done in years. I had a foam mattress that sucked. It was like sleeping on the sponge in your sink. I heard about Ghost Bed. I got this thing. Comes in a box. I open it up, unvacuum sealed it, and it popped into this thick, beautiful, glorious, pillow-topped mattress. Not too hard, not too soft. Sleeps cool. Ridiculous. The value is ridiculous. American made. American made. You can get in my bed. Just go to ghostbed.com/Newsmax. Ghostbed.com/Newsmax. 10% savings on top already low prices. And I'm not screwing around, guys. It is the best I've slept in years. Ghostbed.com/Newsmax. It will blow your mind. I mean it. I look forward to going to bed for crying out loud. Let's take a break and come back. Last hour of the show is next. Don't go anywhere.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax. Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide.
Real news for real people.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 3 of the show today. A couple of real quick notes. We do the show, it becomes a podcast after the show. I thought you should know that. So if you go to your usual podcast platforms, just look up Rob Carson Show. We're everywhere, all right? Then also, the show lives forever on Newsmax social media because we do broadcast on all of Newsmax social media on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and Rumble. And it's kicking butt. The show is kicking butt. Of course, we're also on terrestrial radio stations around the country, hopefully adding some more to the fold because this is a pretty uniquely entertaining radio program. I don't know if you knew this, but they're the only show in America that kind of focuses on, leans into humor a little bit because honestly, opinions are easy. Everybody's got an opinion. You sit on an opinion, for God's sake. You sit on it. Everybody's got one. And the last thing you really need is just another opinion. So we do comedy when we can. I got a new gay Ayatollah theme song coming up here. Yeah, because I guess the reason why the dead Ayatollah who's been vaporized didn't want the cardboard Ayatollah to be the Ayatollah is because he enjoyed the company of men, which is not, looked upon very favorably in a country where they throw gay people off of buildings. So there's that. Anyway. Jim Gossett did some new comedy on that. We'll do that in a second. Kash Patel was on Capitol Hill yesterday testifying. The Democrat Party is so filled with hate and rage about Donald Trump and terrified of his success and the exposition of all the fraud and everything that they are willing to whiz on anything, including the gigantic drop in crime in America. Here is Kash Patel talking about fentanyl. There's a real good chance a family that had someone OD accidentally or otherwise on fentanyl, more so than you probably know a young, healthy person dying of COVID.
The counter-narcotic mission can't be complete without state and local law enforcement. So we are embedding more task force officers across the country on the specific counter-narcotics mission.
Yep.
We've also stood up with our interagency partners in Tucson, Arizona, the Southern Border Intelligence Center, specifically on the counter-narcotic mission so that we can utilize the Department of War and interagency capabilities on the law enforcement front.
Yeah, murder rate's the lowest it's been in 126 years.
That's why we seized enough fentanyl in 2025 to kill 178 million Americans. Wow. That's a 31% increase year over year.
Yeah.
And here's a statistic that everybody should be proud of.
Yeah, what's that?
Opioid overdose deaths from last year dropped 20 points.
That means tens of thousands of lives saved. Democrats can't stand that.
20 points from across the country.
Wow.
And in Oklahoma specifically, Senator, we seized enough kilograms of cocaine to include a 232% increase in the state of Oklahoma alone and enough fentanyl to kill 500,000 Oklahomans. We can't do that unless we have great police partnerships.
Did you hear the word fentanyl come from Joe Biden's filthy, rotten, old, stinking mouth? While he was the president, he opened the southern border and people died by the hundreds of thousands. Did you hear a dang thing out of his mouth? No, you didn't. Shame on the Democrat Party for what they did. But here's jackass Jasmine Crockett. And she says that the drug traffickers, despite Donald Trump blowing up their drug boats and, causing them to lose billions of dollars, they love Donald Trump. This is one of the dumbest things. No, I can't say that because it's really hard to quantify the stupid out of this woman's mouth.
International drug traffickers love Donald Trump because they know that even if they are arrested, it's easy enough to get a pardon from him. The data shows that Donald Trump is one of the most pro-drug trafficking presidents in modern day history.
I can't hear any more of her because I'm going to lose IQ points. I mean, I have plenty to spare. You do too, but I just don't want to hear her nonsense anymore. Utterly ridiculous. She's utterly ridiculous. There are so many good things happening right now. And they're just trying to tear down Donald Trump. And they would rather have people die of fentanyl. They'd rather have people live in slavery in Iran. They would rather have misery. They'd rather have Ayatollah. They'd rather have Maduro. They'd rather have an open border. They'd rather have children being trafficked. They'd rather have women being trafficked for both sex and work. It is a mental bloody illness. It is absolutely ridiculous. I think I need to hear some comedy. Let's hear the new gay Khomeini theme song. Jim Gossett. Oh, it's one of the gayest songs ever. The Copacabana by Barry Manilow.
His name's Mojtaba, last name Khomeini. It is mentioned now and then that he is fond of men. That's why his father was wary of him. You see, his dad was anti-gay, and there wasn't any way that he would want his son to be the chosen one. When you consider his idea of fun, he's Mojtaba, last name Khomeini. No one thinks of him as brainy.
No, not really.
Prefers the fellas.
Fabulous.
Not fond of ladies.
No.
The Pentagon's claiming Khomeini is flaming. That's Mojtaba.
His dad's wife was the goat.
Could he be gay?
That goat right over there, actually.
That's what they say. As a leader, some say he'll blow it. Intelligence, he doesn't show it.
He blew it.
That is Mojtaba. He is an art man, big into fashion and unbridled passion. That's Mojtaba. He'll give you a wink. His turban is pink.
Yeah, he likes those long flowing robes and headgear. You know when there was a deal when his long flowing robe and headgear was by Vera Wang. That came out. It was Vera Wang was outfitting him. So there. That is Jim Gossett. My God, it is brilliant, right? Isn't he just brilliant? If you want to help out Jim Gossett, go to patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy, patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. Give him $10 a month or $20 a month, and you'll get 2 parodies a day. He did like 3 today. He's brilliant. I used to work with Paul Shanklin on the Rush Limbaugh program. And Paul's a great guy. He's a brilliant guy. Jim Gossett is 1,000 times more prolific and just brilliant, and I'm so blessed to have him be a part of this show. Real quick, the price of gold, $4,600 today. So it's $4,600. That's down from its high of $5,600 in January. And you're thinking, well, that's terrible. No. It's real good. It's real good because it's giving you a pause to invest. Because it's still $2,000 more than it was a year and a half ago. It's still $2,000 an ounce more than it was a year and a half ago. An ounce, for God's sake. An ounce in the palm of your hand. Boom, a coin worth $4,600. And maybe it's time for you to consider investing in gold. Maybe this is your opportunity because if you would have bought in January, you'd be like, what? The thing is, a lot of people sold in January when it was $5,600. That's why one of the reasons the price went down. Birch Gold, I trust. I'm not going to be cashing in my gold anytime soon. I'm planning on hanging on to it for a decade. That's what I'm planning on doing, hanging on to it for a decade. And so I went with Birch Gold. You can learn more about Birch Gold by just texting my name, Rob, to 989898, Rob to 989898. You're going to get useful information from a A+ rated company, Better Business Bureau. And I love them. I got my thank you card from Birch Gold for investing taking a 401k and converting into gold about a month ago. And it was very polite and wonderful and all. They're based in Des Moines. I mean, my God, it doesn't get more American than Des Moines. That's my home state, for God's sake. But anyway, text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold. Benny Johnson has an amazing new video on. I posted it on my Rumble page at Rob Carson Show. He is investigating the homeless industrial complex. I'm going to get to that in a second. I do want to mention John Fetterman because Gavin Newsom is Nick Shirley has uncovered this massive fraud among the many kinds of fraud in California, and it has to do with hospice care. It's run by the mafia, Armenian mafia, and he knew this, by the way, because they said it was run by the Armenian mafia a couple of years ago, and Gavin Newsom sued the Justice Department for saying it was racist because of the Armenian mafia. He knew it was. He knew it was a fraud. And Nick Shirley goes out and uncovers it. And now Gavin Newsom is he's basically calling Nick Shirley a pedophile because Nick Shirley in Minnesota discovered all these child care centers where they weren't children. And Gavin Newsom, like a scumbag piece of crap that he is, made it look like, hey, Nick Shirley's here to see children. I mean, what is wrong with you, you sleazy, greasy-haired, veneered-toothed joker? My God. But here is John Fetterman calling out Gavin Newsom, who will never be president, by the way.
Why can't you celebrate any journalist or any, activist doing that? And what,
He has a $8 million mansion that's being completed. How did he do that on a government salary?
Governor Newsom put out a disgusting video implying that he's, a pedophile or he's that. Like, why? That's like kind of a smear.
Yeah.
You want to disagree but to imply that someone in one of the most gross kinds of terms like that. Well, it's like, hey, shouldn't we agree? Eliminate all the waste if it exists under my.
It's because it's a grift. The high-speed rail is a grift. The California Wildlife Crossing Bridge. It's just one bridge, and it's $21 million over budget. Began in 2022. One bridge across a highway so that cougars and butterflies can go across it. Do they not know that butterflies can fly? Do they not know that you don't need a bridge for butterflies? $114 million for this stupid bridge. And here's the idiot, green moron, who's in charge of it.
When we started stage 1 and we're waiting to start stage 2, the world changed beneath us, though. This spring, construction costs increased considerably.
She's blaming the overrun on things like inflation and tariffs.
And although we were holding reserves to finish construction, all those are exhausted at this point because of tariffs, inflation, and so many other factors.
No, it's fraud. It's absolutely 100% fraud. $120 million for a stupid bridge across a highway that's literally maybe a couple hundred feet wide, and that allows wildlife to cross from one side of the highway to the other, including butterflies who can fly. What the hell? That's like building, taking down a wall so birds can migrate. Really? They can fly over. I mean, how stupid and corrupt. Benny Johnson, homeless industrial complex, next. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. right, so Gavin Newsom is the Joker. He's also Evil Ken, by the way, because his wife is Barbie. She's a dimwit. I mean, like, oh, my God, so blonde. Listen to her. She's talking about gay people and the spectrum of sexuality.
There's so much to learn from same-sex couples who have learned to communicate and who also are like, well, look, someone's got to do the care work in a same-sex male couple. Someone's got to do that. So I'm just going to do it. And this is like, and not be afraid or ashamed because.
Oh my God. Like, oh my God.
It's part of being human. We're all.
Does it sound like an adult?
On a spectrum, right? It's just how society kind of push.
No. The spectrum is like a wavelength. I don't know if you knew this, but radio waves are on the same spectrum as light. They are. It's one goes faster than the other. And that's a spectrum. What she's talking about is not a spectrum. But I think you've got some sort of spectrum disorder with your tiny little Barbie brain.
Pushes us and pressures us into these limiting gender roles. But again, the folks on the far right, they're missing is just this. They're living in this silo, this evangelical conservative silo that ultimately it's just pulling us back as a country to a time and a place where
no. The silo is full of stupid. I mean, honestly, a harvest of stupid, a bumper crop of stupid in your silo. My God in heaven. These are adults in 2026. What the hell? Benny Johnson. Love Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson in California, looking at the homeless industrial complex.
Welcome to California, the homeless capital of America. Nearly 200,000 homeless people reside in the Golden State.
It's way worse than Minnesota.
This was bought with taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
Obvious fraud. What the hell is going on?
Mayor Bass needs Skid Row for her to get federal money. But the reality is we can fix this if we want to.
I can't believe it. I can't believe that never occurred to me.
Welcome to California.
Yeah, Elon Musk actually talked about this. I've shared this audio on the show. This is what's going on in California.
Homeless implies that somebody got a little behind on their mortgage payments, and if they just got a job offer, they'd be back on their feet. But someone who's totally dead inside, shuffling along down the street with a needle dangling out of their leg, taking a dump in the middle of the streets, they're not like one job offer away from getting back on their feet. These sort of charities, they get this money. The money is proportionate to the number of homeless people. Their incentive structure is to maximize the number of drug zombies, not minimize it. That's why they don't arrest the drug dealers. Because if they arrest the drug dealers, the drug zombies leave, and they would stop getting money from the state of California and from
how much are they
charities.
worth?
This is a diabolical scam.
Yeah.
You're taxing on any money going through the system in San Francisco, and that money goes to the homeless industrial complex. When you add up all the money that's flowing, they're getting close to $1 million per drug zombie. It's like $900,000, something like that.
Unbelievable. I mean, my God, I remember looking in Seattle and the district up there. I can't remember the name of it. Watching these people they're just dead. They're bent over. They're dangling their arms, and I'm like, they're people. I mean, they're addicts, but they're people. My God in heaven. I don't even know what to say about the Democrat Party. My God. Here is Benny Johnson in California with the money being spent, and they've actually caused more homelessness, which means more money.
California has poured $31 billion of state and federal tax dollars into fighting homelessness over the past few years. That adds up to $170,000 per homeless person.
Yeah.
For perspective, that's more than the median price of a home in West Virginia.
Yeah.
That's more than the total GDP of 91 different countries.
They pay $81,000 per homeless person in New York City, by the way.
So what's the result?
Per year.
Of this astronomical spending? Homelessness skyrocketed in California. They added 30,000 new homeless people.
Yeah, and here is Benny Johnson out interviewing homeless people who are getting no help at all. Listen to this.
We decided to head to Venice Beach to talk to actual homeless people to see if they've received any of the $170,000 that Gavin Newsom has spent on them. Listen to this.
We're here on Venice Beach, one of the most famous beaches in the world, and it is absolutely disgusting. It smells like piss and weed everywhere that you go, and there's homeless people everywhere. Let's go talk with some of them and ask, has Gavin Newsom done anything for you exactly? No, nothing. So have you guys seen any of that money? Has anybody
No.
Nothing.
I got nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, I didn't know
No
there was that
help.
much money in it.
For $170,000, they could easily build longhouses with 50 to 100 hammocks in each one.
Have you seen any of that money?
No.
$170,000. Have you ever gotten any payments?
Get payment for what?
Yeah, exactly.
Trump said they're going to find out.
Yeah. It's the same way with green energy nonsense. There's the same way with autism fraud in Minnesota and feeding the kids in Minnesota. I swear to God in heaven, how bloody corrupt is our country. Here is Benny Johnson saying where the money's going.
There are 683 homeless nonprofits in California, over $1 billion.
Which means that every one of them are failing at their job. Every bloody one of them.
In annual revenue. This is a massive industry. Take, for example, PATH, People Assisting the Homeless. This is a major California-based nonprofit focused on ending homelessness. According to their IRS 990 forms, PATH has a total revenue of $181 million.
Yeah.
That's grown exponentially in the past few years. It's up 13% year over year. PATH spent $70 million on salaries and benefits alone in the past year. The CEO made over $300,000 this year. Man, you can really put a roof over your head in the homeless industrial complex.
It is worse than I could have ever imagined. And the sad thing is there are so many great charities out there who just scrape to get by. So many good charities out there, but these people are part of the grift. They create charities so they can get government money, and they never offer any freaking services. It is so beyond belief, and it is so beyond the pale, and it is to the tune of trillions of dollars nationally. And I'm saying if Pam Bondi can't get this done, then Pam Bondi ought to do something else, because people are going to have to go to jail for this, and this includes politicians like Gavin Newsom and Tim Walz and all of these people who know it's going on, have known it's going on, and have been receiving graft from it, whether it be votes, whether it be political donations, or out-and-out money, because there's a lot of that happening too. There is a lot of that. I got to tell you what, it is remarkable. I'm just glad that it's being discovered. Now it's time to do something. Adam Gillette, the president of Accuracy in Media, joins us next. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson. I just got a ghost bed. Yeah, no, pay attention here, because I've been sleeping on a foam mattress since I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, which is like sleeping on the sponge in your sink. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks, not fluff. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I have been sleeping past 7 in the morning on my Ghost Bed. It's unbelievable. If you wake up stiff, you toss and turn, if you sleep hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. It's your mattress talking. Another great thing I love about Ghost Bed, you get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, you can send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is offering my audience their lowest prices of the season, plus an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. You are going to love your new Ghost Bed.
Saturday morning from 11 to 12, exclusively on WCBN.
Hi, folks. I'm Alan Ellis. We talk about fishing, hunting, and the great
Fishing, hunting, and
outdoors.
Hey guys, it's Carson. I just got a ghost bed. Yeah, no, pay attention here, because I've been sleeping on a foam mattress since I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, which is like sleeping on the sponge in your sink. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not...
He still hasn't called.
That's right. It is a Rob Carson Show. All right, so we got a lot of balls in the air, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of stuff. Here's a new headline today. Prime Minister Takaichi of Japan selected the U.S. as Japan's primary supplier of oil and energy. The agreement signed for $56 billion. So there you go, another $56 billion added to the economy. Really need to do something about this this debt, this national debt. I'm hoping we get on it. That was the only real complaint I had about the Trump's first administration. Wasn't a hawk on the debt, and we really need to do something about the debt. Is what we need to do. Yeah. All of this fraud, the insanity. Newsom's California blew $100 million on a butterfly and cougar bridge. Is this for like older women? No. It is, and I know older women hate that. I don't like being called a cougar. All right, whatever. That's fine. That's fine. There was a TV show on years ago. I used to like it. It was called Cougar Town. Remember that? It was Courtney. What's her name from Courtney Cox? It was a funny show, Cougar Town. But anyway, yeah, cougars and butterflies. Like they don't know that butterflies can fly. I mean, how stupid are these people? No, they're not just stupid. They're not stupid. They're clever, cunning, and ridiculous. Dr. Oz, even in the state of Florida, there's all sorts of scams going on with Medicare and Medicaid. This being about, medical equipment.
Well, the state of Florida is very well run by Governor DeSantis. Despite that, you have elements in South Florida who have built up a massive and corrupt scheme around durable medical equipment. These are the folks that's the suppliers of these products, sell wheelchairs and canes and knee braces. We believe that because there's just a heavy influence by the Cuban population down there, there might even be foreign involvement in this. But nevertheless, there are twice as many of these durable medical equipment suppliers in South Florida than McDonald's.
Wow.
Well, that's a shocking number of centers, way out of proportion to other areas. And because it's been tolerated and often not brought to the attention for folks, because people keep it sort of on the down low, there's not been enough efforts to stomp it out. We're going after that durable.
I hope so. I mean, we got the new fraud czar, J.D. Vance is taking care of that. And man, we have got to do something about this. This is Elon Musk. Remember when he was the Doge director and everybody said he was a Nazi because he's, was going to uncover what we now know? Isn't it interesting? Elon Musk saved free speech. Nick Shirley uncovered massive fraud. They silenced Elon Musk when he was the director of Doge. It's kind of interesting. Isn't that kind of interesting? Nick Shirley, the 24-year-old kid. When you listen to him, he's not terribly well-spoken. He's just curious. And he has a journalistic curiosity about him. He's not polished. He's not John Stossel, for God's sake. But he's a remarkable guy. I mean, hell of a remarkable guy. But here's Elon Musk back when he was in charge of Doge before everybody called him a Nazi. And again, this is the same people who said that, Elon Musk is a Nazi. And then, of course, the idiots on the left went out and burned his car dealerships and all that. Remember that? Is he still a Nazi? Oh, no, he never was a Nazi. That's just what the left does. Donald Trump is a fascist. Donald Trump is a Nazi. Donald Trump is Hitler. Do you understand what they're doing here? Whenever we're near a target, whenever we're over a target, that's what they do. It's what they do. But here's Elon Musk talking about all of the fraud to the tune of billions of dollars. This is more than a year ago.
So then the rebuttal from the Dems is like, oh, well, the vast majority of the people who are marked as live in the Social Security Administration weren't receiving Social Security Administration payments. That is true. What they forgot to mention is they're getting fraudulent payments from every other government program.
Yeah.
And that's why the Dems were so opposed to turning off, to declaring someone dead who was dead. because it would stop the entire all the other fraud from happening.
And so, but all this, is it trackable? Like all this other fraud?
Yeah, it's not even hard.
And yet they're opposing chasing it all down.
They're opposing chasing it all down because it turns off the money magnet for the illegals.
And how much money are we talking?
It's hundreds of billions of dollars.
Hundreds of billions of dollars. There you go. It's it really is amazing. It really is amazing. In California, they pay homeless people for signatures for ballot initiatives and whatnot. They do it. They found it out. I believe Project Veritas discovered this. It is. I think we should be grateful for this being uncovered. Look at all the things that we've seen uncovered in the last few years. We saw massive anti-Semitism uncovered on college campuses after October the 7th, after the left bought and paid for anti-Semitic protests. And then it exposed all the anti-Semitism on campus, ingrained in a university leadership and whatnot. Saw that uncovered. We now see massive amounts of graft and corruption uncovered, and we would have never, ever, ever seen it if Kamala Harris were the president. It would have only gotten worse. It would have only gotten worse. You may recall when Joe Biden lost and was booted, and Kamala Harris was immediately made the candidate. You didn't vote for her, Democrats. Yeah, I guess you're cool with that, whatever. I would be kind of mad. That said, whatever. But Joe Biden sent out $63 billion, I think it was, in green energy nonsense, including $2 billion to Stacey Abrams. $2 billion to Stacey Abrams in Georgia. She did a little supposed charity where, or NGO or whatever the hell you want to call it, where you replace gas stoves with electric stoves, which is stupid because gas stoves are clean burning and inexpensive in the whole deal. And she literally had $100 in the account like a year before. And then he just gave her $2,000 million. Ilhan Omar was worth pennies before she became a member of Congress. She ushered in massive amounts of spending for this Feeding the Children initiative in Minnesota. She came up with the idea. She got $250 million for Feeding Our Future, and they didn't serve any meals. It just went to donors and others. She even, in one of the restaurants that got like $9 million and didn't feed anybody, held her election victory party there. And now she's worth $30 million. Look at this. It used to be that you had to, if you wanted to become a millionaire, you had to work your butt off, man. You had to create something. You had to market something. You had to, like I said, invent or create whatever. And then, do all of the work, Shark Tank and the whole deal. But now all you need to do is grease the palms of a whole lot of Democrats and create an NGO or a homeless charity or whatever, and just rake the money in. Just rake the money in by billions and billions of dollars. It is, these are remarkable times. And this is an opportunity, like, for instance, when an opportunity is presented, you should take advantage of it. Okay. I look at Iran as an opportunity, 47 years of terror, an opportunity to change the Middle East for the better and end the chief exporter of terror around the world. It's an opportunity. Now we have an opportunity. All of this fraud is being uncovered. The opportunity now is to gut this from existence and punish people who've done it, including politicians. It's an opportunity we have to take advantage of because it's been presented to us in a gigantic fashion. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. WCBN. It is the Rob Carson Show. You know, when Ronald Reagan was the president of the United States, America was behind him. When we did good things, America was behind him, despite party. And right now, there are a group of people who will not, no matter what good news there is, will not celebrate it. We've got one of the lowest crime rates that we've ever seen in our lives. It is remarkable. Have you noticed the last few months that, like in the summer, normally you hear immediately on Monday how many people died in Chicago over the weekend, right? Remember that? Remember that happened in Washington, D.C.? Washington, D.C. I went out this weekend. I drove around Washington, D.C. I went back to my old neighborhood where I worked in a place called Friendship Heights in Chevy Chase right there. And I drove by my old building where I worked for a dozen years. And there's this grocery store called Rodman's, which is a wonderful little kind of ethnic grocery store. And I loaded up on a bunch of stuff, man. I got a bunch of crazy ethnic food and stuff. And they were sacked and destroyed by Black Lives Matter. And I was talking out loud about how grateful I was that it was back. And one of the owners comes over and he goes, "Oh my goodness, welcome!" And he showed me pictures of the store when it was sacked by leftist Black Lives Matter members. And my friend Chris Plant, who still works over that building, does a nationally syndicated show as well. He talked about how the neighborhood was sacked. The Lord and Taylor's, Tiffany's, all of it just completely destroyed. And then the ghost town that Georgetown became during Joe Biden's presidency. D.C. was a violent, awful place, homeless encampments everywhere. Literally, last year, I moved here 7 months ago, and 2 weeks after that, he brings in the National Guard, and the city is crazy. It's remarkable. I drove through Georgetown. I drove by the cathedral, National Cathedral, where I used to go, by the way, all the time. Maybe when we're going to be doing a tour of you guys, I can't give you all the details, but in October, we're bringing listeners here. You're going to be able to get in on a trip to come here, hang out with me in our 250th year. And we're going to make it really cool. It's going to be like 5 days, 4 nights, and going to give you a great rate. And I'm going to spend the week with you. I think I'm only going to be on the air one day. And I'm going to be on the air with you, in front of you, when you come here. And otherwise, we're gonna tour the city, us, and maybe we'll go to the National Cathedral. I used to go there just to pray. I worked a couple miles down the street. I just go into National Cathedral and go to the different stations and pray. It's such a beautiful place, my God in heaven, so glorious. But I drove into Georgetown. That was a ghost town. Drove by my old favorite restaurant, Philomena, where the pasta mamas make pasta. It's a glorious place. And the crowds were enormous. They were thick. There were 100 people waiting to cross the crosswalk at every crosswalk. It was crazy in Georgetown. On the main strip there, you drive down and you get ready to go on the Key Bridge, and the Exorcist stairs are right there. Did you know that? You go down Georgetown, the street, the main venue there, and right before you turn left on the Key Bridge, you turn to the right, and there's the stairs from the finale of The Exorcist, where the priest flies out the window and falls down the stairs. It's right there. Maybe we'll do that too. We won't fall down the stairs, but we'll go see it. But there's a lot of good happening in our country, and the left is refusing to admit it. And like I said, this is why we need to overwhelm them with joy and patriotism. This is Kash Patel yesterday on Capitol Hill. An unprecedented drop in crime and drug deaths and all of this. We should celebrate this.
Audio not playing. No audio.
Okay. Well, that should be playing. Ryan, can you hear that? There you go. 6,200 missing kids. Yeah, found 6,200 missing kids, among other things. These are things that we should be celebrating every single day. We should be celebrating the fact that the southern border is closed. We should be celebrating the fact that, we've gotten DEI out of schools largely. We should celebrate the fact that our military is just kicking butt. Okay, I'm hearing that you cannot hear me. I don't know why that is, guys. You should be able to hear me. All the buttons are pushed. I don't know what the deal is. I can try that. Nope, that's not it. You can try that right there.
You're fine here, Rob.
Okay, well, you're here. Apparently, we're having some issues on the stream. I don't know what the deal is, but all of my buttons are pushed properly. I'll just tell you that. I will just tell you that. We should be celebrating all of these things, but we're not, because the left in our country is doing its level best to just wreck everything. It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. Oh, I got to share this. This is pretty funny. You know that guy James Tallarico who's running for Senate? He beat Jasmine Crockett in Texas. He is a nutbag. What is Texas famous for? Oil, cowboys, and what? Barbecue, right? This is James Tallarico a couple years ago wearing a COVID mask, espousing veganism.
We have, I think, heard more and more issues of animal welfare. I think not just because it's the right thing to do and the moral thing to do, but also it's, as all of you know, necessary to fight climate change. It is now existential that we try to reduce our meat consumption and that we try to...
Yeah, that makes no sense at all. It doesn't work. It's nonsense. It's absolute crap nonsense. Cows don't cause climate change, you idiot.
Animals and...
But you know what it is? You see, they say that a beef, communists say it's bourgeoisie, and the little people shouldn't be able to enjoy beef.
All aspects of society. And so I am proud to say that our campaign has officially become a non-meat campaign. So we have...
Listen to the voters there, a non-meat campaign.
We are only buying vegan products from our local vegan businesses.
He's only vegan, so no pizza either. So he's running.
This is Alex Barlow, by the way.
Senate in Texas. This is 2022, by the way, this clip. He's double masked here, I think. Yeah. So this is like 2 years after the pandemic got going. He's still got the cloth mask on, which never worked for a second. Well, he's speaking easily socially distanced, and he is saying no meat on the campaign, the home of barbecue in America.
Yeah, there is no chance this guy is going to win. The other day, he was talking about how these old sound bites of him are going to be magnified and taken out of context. None of it is out of context. None of it is out of context. All of it is real, and this guy is a woke idiot, and he's not going to be elected in Texas. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Can I have the buttons pushed? Now, I'm going to deselect these buttons here, which I do during the break, and I reselected the buttons. 2006, here we go. $20,000 equal. Right now, I got to talk to my followers here. Sorry, we had a little bit of technical problems. We shouldn't be having any technical problems, but we are. Anyway, hello. Wild Bill West. Yeah, no steak for you, and one rancher's voting. Yeah, this is what they want to do. They want you to not eat beef because it's bourgeois. It's only for the people in power. That's what they always want. And then they say it's climate change because of it. They don't want you to have a really nice car. They don't want you to have a nice house. That's only reserved for people in power. Don't you understand that? Okay? Truth be told, too. Hi, Rob. Hello. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you today. Who's watching over America? Marseille. Jamie Billette on the YouTubeage. Thanks for joining me today. Hope you're enjoying the show. Show. Over here on Rumbly Roo, my Rumbly Roos. You guys are talkative today. Beautiful streamers for Rob. Gramad, thank you very much. You guys are. You're beautiful streamers. Awesome people. Sassy lady is watching over on Twitter. Yeah, sassy lady. Good to have you there, sassy lady. Let's see what else. Facebookage. Looney Tunes. Hello, Looney Tunes. I don't know why you call yourself that. Maybe you are. I don't know. But I'm glad to have you watching today. Hope you're enjoying the show. All right. What am I going to do here for the last thing here? Maybe I should do some good news, right? Shouldn't I do some good news? KT McFarland, Larry Elder, Tallarico. Could do comedy. Hold on. Oh, yeah, here we go. I got to talk now. I'm going to turn this back on, Ken. We should have some audio.
3.5.
Okay.
Gonna give you some lead.
Come on, Led Zeppelin. Talk to me. Oh, man. Gen Z has really been impacted by Led Zeppelin. There's several bands. There's the band Feel, Greta Van Fleet. I always think Greta Van Susteren. Greta Van Fleet is very, very much impacted by Led Zeppelin, and I just enjoy the music. I enjoy the music a lot. I started my Spotify by accident because, I listen to a lot of music and everything, I listen to a lot of music because music is a gigantic part of my life. Did you watch any of this confirmation hearing with Mark Wayne Mullen and Rand Paul yesterday? I haven't really talked about it a lot today. Rand Paul was attacked on a lawnmower. Remember that, by a crazy liberal, and Rand Paul thinks that Mark Wayne Mullen is a little too masculine, maybe violent, and all of that stuff. Thinks he's violent. He's really not violent. But here is Mark Wayne Mullen yesterday talking to Rand Paul during the session and saying, you're just here to assassinate my character.
Theoretically speaking, sir, I get it. It's about character assassination for you. That's the way this game is played. I understand it. And you are making this about you, which is fine, but that doesn't keep me as Secretary of Homeland Security.
Assassination when you were the one lauding the assault. Who do you think started that character assassination? I'm just repeating what you have done in character assassination. I'm repeating your support for the assault. So that's somehow something I started.
No, sir. What I'm saying is you're adding a lot to it.
There you go. That is it. I got to tell you, I'm not a big fan of Rand Paul anymore. Never really was that big a fan of Rand Paul. I'm really not now. Really not now. I mean, he's so libertarian that he's insane. And his dad, we had that too, kind of there. Mark Wayne Mullen did talk about his son. Donald Trump helped save his son's life. And he said that when his son was going through this brain injury, Donald Trump was there as a friend. Donald Trump was there with his son. Donald Trump actually helped his son recover. He lost his composure yesterday, too, by the way.
It's not about President Trump. It's about my son. So my son was a really world-class athlete. And January 17th of 2020, which, mind you, was an election year, he had a really serious brain injury.
I can't really get into playing the whole thing right now, but I can attest to Donald Trump and his amazing ability to connect with people, even though, like I told you this before, I got back from my mother's funeral, and there was a note from Donald Trump to me personally. I'm sorry your mother, Bonnie, died. She must have been an amazing woman. And that's the way he is. That's the way he is. There's a story about, I'll have to get to it tomorrow. Congressman dying of terminal heart disease. Donald Trump stepped in and says, get Walter Reed involved. Stents, all of this stuff. Saved his life. So I give the man credit. That's going to do it for the show today, guys. Tomorrow, by the grace of God, is finally Friday. God bless you. Donald Trump as he makes this country great again. Our military as they're kicking butt and taking names. And until tomorrow, do not catch the stupid. I love you guys. See ya.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.